Hey, you guys, welcome to the Guava Project, a place where I help you ditch your boring job and create a business and a life that you love and deserve. My name is Jennifer Kent, and today I have with me the beautiful Tamika Korn. I'll let her introduce herself in a second. But my idea is to have other entrepreneur women join me here in this series of how she did it to help create the inspirational impact that I want to create with you guys, so that you can see that there are other people out there who are following their path and their journey. And I want to be able to share with you how that looks like for some people. It may look similar to what you're going through. It may look completely different. Everybody's situation is very unique, but hopefully you'll be able to take some takeaways from this interview and kind of see what are some things that you can implement in your own journey, or maybe inspire some new thoughts and opportunities for yourself. So with that being said, hello, Tamika. Thank you so much for joining me here. I would love for you to tell my audience and anyone else who's listening right now a little bit about you, yourself, and just a little bit about you, yourself, and kind of your current business.
So, Tamika Korn here. I am 33 years old. I live in Columbus, Ohio with my husband and son. He is 14 months to be exact.
Exciting.
I'm a travel agency called AML Travel Designs, and it's been in business for since May. And I say since May because I've actually been in the process of building it for about a year and a half now. But I was nervous at first, and I didn't launch until this past May, and then I went through this rebranding process. So, but other than that,
we've all been there.
Yes. Other than that, before that, I was working for Verizon Wireless in the corporate world. I was there for 6 years, and before that, I was all over the place. Just job to job to job to job.
Gotcha. So was Verizon like the biggest experience that you had in terms of a corporate career?
Yes. That was actually the longest job I held.
Right. Okay.
I enjoyed working there. I started off in Pittsburgh actually, and I started with my husband as well. And then they actually ended up shutting down our corporate office in Pittsburgh, and that's how I ended up in Columbus, because they gave us the option to relocate, and then we ended up coming here. So that's how I ended up here.
Interesting. So, and how, like when you started at your career, I just kind of want to get into kind of that mindset. So when you started in your career at Verizon, did you see yourself there for long term, or it kind of just happened that you stayed there for a while? Or was that kind of like, oh, I can do this for a while?
When I started there, yes, it was very much so going to be long-term. I loved it. There were so many different opportunities for me there, opportunities for advancement. I was close to my family, and then I eventually met the love of my life there. It
was a plus.
Yes, right. And then it just kind of started changing, where no matter what position I ended up getting into, after a while, I was still not happy. I was like, oh, this is great. And then after about, 6 months or a year, I'm like, I need something different. I need change, because it just kept getting boring, or I was just not feeling fulfilled, or I just didn't like what I was supposed to be doing, or supposed to be saying. It's just, it just started to wear on me to the point where I was very, very, very unhappy. Okay, something has to give.
Right. And were there parts of the job that you still enjoyed though?
Yes, I still enjoyed it. I still loved, working with different people. I actually ended up in a department where I worked with people who were traveling.
Oh.
And I spent most of my conversations talking about where they were going, why they were going. I was just so interested in how often they travel, and then, helping them get their phones set up for their trip. And that part really intrigued me. And I wasn't really putting two and two together at that time.
Right.
But I really enjoyed that. So there's the people aspect, and then when I got into a position where I was able to talk about traveling with people and cell phones and where they were going, it was just like, oh, I like this. Maybe I can stay in this position for a long time. And then, of course, I didn't want to stay in that position for a long time either. So
Right. So what would you say was like the pivoting point when you were like, you know what, I gotta do something else. I need to figure something else out.
I would say it was November 2016. I don't know how
Hmm.
I can point that, but I can. It was
Important date.
very important. November 2016, I came home from work and I was just having a conversation with my husband. We always talk about work when we get home because we both work for the same company.
Right.
And I was just like, I can't do this anymore. I'm just so unhappy and I just feel like something is missing. Like I'm not fulfilled. No matter how hard I try to be grateful, I'm just not happy. Like I'm grateful for I love my coworkers. I love my benefits. I love how much time off they gave me. They paid me amazingly well, and I love talking to people, but there was just still something missing, like
And I'm so glad that you brought that up because it's so common to hear that. I was in that place. I don't know if you know my story, but I was an engineer for 10 years before I shifted into what I'm doing now. And actually I shifted into a couple of different things before I landed to where I'm at. Um, and and that's something that I almost felt guilty not loving it because I was getting paid great money. I had awesome coworkers. Like we would go out after work and it was like a family because we spent so much time together. I mean, I was working like 70 hours a week. And they had, amazing benefits, 401k and the paid leave, and I was getting the promotions, and I was like, what is wrong with me? Like, why can I not like this? Like somebody else would kill for this job. So I get it. I'm so glad you brought that up because I think that that's something that holds us back actually from stepping out of our own way, and into something that we really would really fulfill us, is that we have all this ideas of what we should be, loving and be grateful for, and what box we should be fitting in. And I think once we get out of that, once we break through that mindset that, it's okay for me not to like this. There may be somebody else out there that loves working at Verizon and she should have this position, because I'm ready for something else.
right.
That's awesome.
That's pretty much how it happened.
Yeah, good. And so how did you decide to go into traveling? Like how did you always know that was there, or did you have to go through some inner search and journey to figure that out?
So what happened was it was a little bit of all of that because I started looking at different opportunities to work from home or just work for myself.
Right.
And of course, you come across the MLM thing,
Everything, yeah.
make
Yeah.
things on
Oils and the whatever, yeah.
all that. But in the end, that's still working for someone else. And it's
Mhm.
also, I realized I was like, I don't really like any of these things. Like, I'm not passionate about any of this. And I
Right.
can't talk for hours about any of this to someone. And then I started going down this rabbit hole, just searching and searching. I was really searching for weeks. I was probably searching for different opportunities, just different things to do, selling children's books, anything. I was just like, what can I do? I even bought random arts and crafts. Like, you know what? I'm going to learn to crochet. I'm going to learn to knit.
Anything. Give me a sign.
I'm going to learn to sew so I can make arm gloves. I'm going to figure out something. And I went through all these different things. I didn't like them. And then I came across something that said being a travel agent. So whenever I saw that, I was like, a travel agent though, and I just thought the traditional sense of, someone comes to me, hey, I want to go on a cruise. I want to do this. And then
Right.
just one and done, just a transactional kind of thing.
Right.
And so I kept going down that rabbit hole and I came across a website called Post Agency Reviews. And it just talks about this whole world of travel agents, travel advisors, host agencies, and all these different terms that I had no idea what they were at the time.
Right.
I spent hours on this website. I'm saying hours and hours and hours and days and days and days on my lunch break even, just like looking at this stuff and just saying, well, I didn't even care about how much a travel agent could make, like it wasn't
Right.
even, I never even explored that until the very end. It was really about, how would I know this is a good fit for me? And it's not just also about loving travel. It's also the different kinds of travel, getting
Right.
to know people and getting personal with them and why people do it and getting down to that why they want to do it. Because I've learned so much about why people want to travel for wellness or for mental health or for anything. It's
Wow.
just, yeah, just getting closer with your family and creating bonds and connections, repairing relationships. There's so many different things you can do, and I love that.
Right. And
Yeah.
that's the key right there, loving it. Because one of the things that I tried when I first was transitioning out of engineering was baking. I love baking. Um, I guess I should say loving it for a living, right? So I love baking. It relaxes me. I when I'm stressed out, I just pull out my pots and my mixer and my flour, and I make something, and the house smells great, and I just go to a happy place, right? Um, so I decided, you know what, this is going to be great. I'm going to start baking, and that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to go to little craft fairs, and I'm going to, like the farmer's market, and I'm going to have an Etsy store, and I'm going to do all this stuff. And people love the idea, and people were actually responding to it. I hated baking for a living. Like, I cannot stand somebody telling me, I need you to make 24 cookies of that kind. No, ma'am. So that's really important that you actually did that inner soul searching, if you would, to figure out if, it's not just about loving to travel and about traveling, knowing about traveling, but do I love all other aspects of this business?
Yes, that's. I realize that it's so important because, like you said, you love baking, and then I love the whole aspect of traveling. But there is always so much more. That's literally 20% of what we get to do. 80% of it is sitting behind the computer and having these consultations and getting to know them and making sure it's perfect for them, sitting on hold and comparing this and comparing that. So it's definitely very important to see what the nitty gritty is of what you really think you want to do for a living. Because
Right.
to this, we're like, oh yes, I'm gonna just talk about travel all day long. I'm gonna travel the world all the time, and realize you get into it, it's like, whoa, 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 hold on,
Right, right. Yeah. And one of the exercises that I work through with my clients is this idea of figuring out what your ideal day looks like, right? And your ideal week, if a day is not, it's too specific for somebody, because that really helps you shape up, does this business idea really match with what I want my life to look like? Somebody was came to me with the idea of, I want to be a wedding photographer. And she was really pumped about it. And when we started getting into it, she realized, wait a minute, I'm going to be working nights and weekends. That's going to be like the core of my time. It's going to be being away from my home and my family and other things and activities on nights and weekends. And she's like, I don't want that. I don't want to be working nights and weekends. I have a family. I want to be home with them. I want to be able to do things with them. So I think it's so important to do all that high level research and thinking and mapping it out. And of course, try some things out, like you were saying, trying some crochet to see if that's really what I want to do, right? But do a little bit of that high level mapping out. What is this going to be looking like before you dive into it and spend tons of money and training and setting up a website and all that good stuff. So speaking of training, did you have to then go and get some training?
Yes. So once I did that rabbit hole digging and ended up on that website, Host Agency Reviews, I started comparing different host agencies. So host agencies is just a bigger agency that has a lot of the relationships that I need in order to plan the trips. And they also provided me with a mentor for some of them. The one that I picked was Gifted Travel Network. And
Mm-hmm.
they provided me with a mentor, and I also went into their travel MBA program, which just teaches you the ins and outs of the travel industry, which there's
Right.
so much to learn.
So much, I can imagine.
How this all happens. So yeah, I did have to, that was a 12-month program. And there are different exercises and modules, and they help you like build your business. And then they teach you how to do all kinds of things when it comes to putting trips together, and even how to talk to your client, impress your client, qualify your client, and wow them, and then what to do when they're traveling in case something were to go wrong. And then even though I haven't been all over the world, I'm not meant to be a walking atlas. So
Right. Right.
I have a mentor, and I also have a network of different agents who have been to different parts of the world who are able to help me if, say, I haven't been to Guatemala, but I have someone who wants to go there, and I know exactly, my job is to qualify them to know exactly what they're looking for, what specific experiences, and then I'm able to reach out to my network and say, hey, I have a client who's looking for this, 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 and this within this budget, and go from there. And they help me build that in order to, provide the best experience I possibly can provide. So yeah, and there's constantly ongoing training. So it's not
Yeah.
just 12 months of training and then that's it.
Right.
Because things are always changing within the travel industry.
Yeah.
Lots of training going
And
on.
I'm sure you've also had to learn not just about the travel side of things, the travel industry, but you've also had to learn about marketing, and contracts and all this other side of things that, accounting, like I was like accounting, my sister's an accountant. So I was like, no. But yeah, so as you wear many hats.
Many hats. And yes, so there's that part. So besides just the fun part of, yes, planning travel and talking with clients, there's also that other side of the business that in the beginning, unless you have the funds to outsource it all, you do have to learn. So social media marketing, regular marketing, sending out electronic newsletters and networking on your own. And then, like you said, the bookkeeping, the amount of bookkeeping. And then the legal side, because you have to make sure you register the right LLC. And then, so there's so many different things that you have to think about, which I know what parts of it I don't enjoy, but I need to be good at it or proficient at it enough to run my business successfully.
Right.
And to the point where I get to, I can outsource something that I really, really don't like, accounting. I will outsource that.
Right.
But I need to do my due diligence and, take time to learn how to do it correctly, and just actually designate a whole day to doing those certain things that I don't like.
Right. Right. I remember one time I was just going crazy with this one thing with my website, and it was taking me like a whole week to figure out this one thing, and I couldn't for the life of me. And I was, watching YouTube videos and how-to blogs and all this stuff, and I'm like, I'm following every step, and I still can't figure it out. And finally I was like, you know what, I give up. I just need to outsource this, and I need to pay somebody to get it done. And I did so, I put it out, hired someone to get it done. The guy was done within like 15 minutes. He's like, here it is. I was like, are you kidding me? So sometimes it's so hard to relinquish that, and sometimes you just can't afford it, because you're bootstrapping your own business, you're starting out. So I get that part. But sometimes it's just that initial like, oh, I can hire someone to do this, and let somebody else shine in their little field wherever they shine. So Tamika, what would you say has been one of your biggest challenges transitioning from a corporate world into running your own business?
Oh, gosh. One of the biggest challenges. Oh, man.
Too many, right? You can say more than one if it's more than one.
Challenges. I'd probably say my biggest challenge is trusting myself a lot of the time, because in the corporate world, you're used to someone telling you exactly what to do, when to do it, how to do it. And now I'm building something on my own, and I try not to struggle with perfection paralysis, because that's another thing that I struggle with.
Yeah.
I get in my own way. So I'll be like, oh, does this look good? This looks, no, I don't, I'm going to wait.
Right.
Just keep waiting and prolonging and waiting and prolonging. And you never do anything, which is why I said I've been doing this for a while, and I didn't officially launch until May.
Right.
A lot of the time you just keep second guessing, and sometimes you really do just have to just let go and just let it flow. Just let it happen.
Right.
And just really trust yourself. And I think that's probably why when I first started, I did have to rebrand, because when I first started, I was just like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to do romance travel, because everyone's getting married, and that's a really good direction to go in. Hey, I just got married 2 years ago. That's a good idea.
That's great.
And I wasn't trusting myself because I knew that's not me. I am
Right.
not, me and my husband are not the romantic type and
Right.
those pedals everywhere and everything. We are adventurers at heart. And if I would have listened to myself, I would have launched in January. But I didn't. I was like, I'm going to do this. And I'm trying to struggle to design my website. I did end up hiring someone to design my website. Like we talked about that.
Yeah.
And I was going to come up with content for it because I didn't know how to speak that language. I was struggling to find pictures for it because I don't take pictures like that. And
Right.
holding hands. And, you know, it was trusting myself. That probably is the biggest part. Just
Yeah. And I think at the beginning, of course, that it takes a little bit more because you've never been on your, you know what I mean? It's like throwing somebody out there to ride a bike without the training wheels straight away. You know what I mean? So it takes a while to get that momentum, and it takes a while to figure out, you know, to give ourselves permission to just go and do it, you know, and that we're calling the shots here, and it's okay. You know, I've made it this far. We can do it. And you can always rebrand or pivot, you know, or start over, whichever. And rarely ever is there a moment where you have to start from scratch, because even when I you know, decided to not go for the baking thing, I had learned so much about starting a business. You know, like I had to go and register with the county, and I had to start a Facebook business page, you know, and things like. I had learned a lot already to get me started in the next phase. So it's rarely ever that you're just, you know, botching it all and starting from scratch.
Oh yeah, no. I'll even say that so I started learning this in January 2017, and then I launched in May officially. But in October of this year, I actually went and started I found that my local university over here, the state college, they offered free business training classes every Wednesday for 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Like, even though I had already launched and everything and set up my business and stuff, since I was rebranding and I had like this new focus, I was like, you know what, I want to make sure I do this right. So I enrolled in that, and I learned so much more, and I actually realized I didn't register correctly the first time. I was just doing business ads, and I wanted to be an LLC, and I was like, oh, I thought I did that. Yeah, I learned so much more. So it doesn't matter if you're a year in or 6 months in. It doesn't matter. Like, you can constantly learn more and get better, and just not be afraid to say, you know what, I have no idea, and then go seek help for it, you know, because I have no idea. Like you said, I've never done it before.
Right.
So go ahead and take these classes, and I was okay doing that. And they taught me. Now I have another mentor to help me on the business side of things and help me make sure that I do this all the right way. And so
Right. Right. And I don't know if you've ever heard of Brooke Castillo. She's a life coach, and you mentioned something that kind of reminded me of something that she said the other day. She said, you know, if a lot of people will say, well, I can't do that because I've never done it. You know, I don't know how to do it, so I'm not going to do it. And she's like, imagine if we had that mentality when we were learning how to walk. Well, I've never walked before, so I'm just not going to do it. You know what I mean? No, you get up, you walk, you take a couple steps, you fall down, you get up again, you try it again, and you keep doing it until you figure it out, right? And I think that as women, we're in a lot of ways waiting for somebody else to give us permission to take that step. And I think it's so important and so empowering to just, you know, recognize that it's okay for you not to know. You just do the research, you take the class, you sign up for certification, and you get it done. You know, you get there. What's an advice? What's a piece of advice that you would give to someone who was in your position 3 years ago?
3 years ago. Wow. I would probably say listen to your heart, because when I officially launched my business the first time,
Uh-huh.
I had a friend who I worked with at my first job at T-Mobile, and she said, you know, you talked about doing this 10 years ago. I was like, I did. She said, yeah, you talked about being a travel agent 10 years ago. You said that you've always wanted to do this. I do not remember that conversation.
Oh, wow.
And so I would probably tell anyone who was me 3 years ago is dig deep and listen to yourself. Just remember what you've always wanted in life, because it's always right there. You know, the answer is always right there. Even if you don't remember or you don't think about it, or you just kind of put it in your back pocket, like, you know, one day,
Right.
never happen. You know, one day would become someday, and someday would become no day. And then you're just living your life sitting there being miserable, trying to figure out, well, what happened? You know, like your whole life flashes before your eyes, because you're
Right.
like, "Oh, this, I could have done this 5 years ago if I wasn't, you know, just so wrapped up in everything else going on around me, you know."
Right.
And
Yeah.
you can't let your circumstances dictate, you know, what you really want to do in life. Like, I understand that things happen, you know, it could
Right.
be strain, or you could, hey, I was pregnant when I decided to go for this. So we were expecting a little one, and I was like, I'm still doing this.
Good for you. She's like, I'm doing it.
I'm doing it. Give me more motivation to make sure I
Right.
do it right.
Right.
So, and I have my husband that supports me. So find your support system and just go for it. If you have an idea, go for it, because someone else will do it if you don't.
Right. Yeah. And what I always say is time's going to go by anyways,
Mm-hmm.
you know, so might as well just start now.
Right now, if
Yeah.
you have a job, you can do it while you're slowly trying to build it. Like, that was my original plan, was to, you know, keep working at Verizon while I go through this.
Right.
But then our baby came, and I was just like, well, I'm not putting him in daycare. I'm just going to quit cold turkey and just go for it. Just
Right.
running. And my husband's like, you go, you can do it. And I was like, thanks. And then,
You know, and I've heard it all. There are some people that having that motivation of, you know, I got to put food on the table next month, so I better figure it out this month. That works, you know. Some people that doesn't work for them because, you know, their personality is more conservative and they need that safety net in order to feel confident to take the next step. So different things are going to work for different people, but and Pamela Slim is and she's the author of Escape Cubicle Nation, and it was a similar story. She had a baby and she was like, I can't even imagine leaving my baby with anyone else. I'm not going back. And she launched her consulting business, and she's like, I had to make it work. We had a mortgage payment coming up, and, you know, I had to figure it out. So I did. So kudos. What would you say is a tool or, you know, like a tool that you use that you would recommend, that you've used during your transition, that you would say you would recommend to someone who's transitioning and starting their business?
tool that I could say this transition, besides my handy computer. If anyone wants to actually get into the travel agent thing or look into it, I would say the website Host Agency Reviews is a really cool to do lots and lots and lots of research to know where to start. In general, I would probably right now say that I have a diary that I use.
Uh-huh. I love it.
Actually a planner. It's like I have a planner and a diary.
Uh-huh.
So my diary is a 6-minute diary, and I actually started using that because doing this entrepreneurial thing, especially in the beginning, is like the biggest strain, drain, wonderful, awful, magnificent thing that could ever happen.
All of it. Yes.
You're all over the place with it. And there was a point where, and this is the reason why I ended up transitioning or rebranding, is because there was a point where I was becoming unhappy with what I was doing. And it was taking a toll on me, and it was really stressing me out because I was just like, I don't know what I'm doing, you know, like,
right.
And I had to fall back in love with my business. And in order to do that, I had to do some soul searching.
Right.
Soul searching, I had to start journaling and figuring out what makes me happy, and, you know, find gratitude again, and just pretty much rebuild. And I had to rebuild myself, and I did.
Right.
I found this other planner.
So what was that called? 6-minute planner?
6-minute diary.
6-minute diary. Oh, cool.
And
I never heard of it.
Gratitude and mindfulness and like small acts of kindness, just to help you build the life that you want, the life that you deserve. But it all starts with being thankful for what you have.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Yes.
I don't know if you know, but I did a 21 days of gratitude challenge around Thanksgiving. And so I'm all over that stuff. I just think that seriously, stepping into the day with a grateful heart, it just changes your whole perspective. And there's always something to be grateful for.
Every time. There always
Yeah.
is. Even the smallest things. Like it has you. It's called 6 minutes because you take 3 minutes in the morning and 3 minutes at night, and then some questions that you answer. And it can be simple things. It could be something as simple as smiling at the barista at Starbucks, or
Right.
being thankful for it snowing outside because it's closer to Christmas. It doesn't have to be anything major. Just like,
Right.
oh, I'm so thankful for, I don't know, my car. I don't know, just like, anything, or my job. It could just be really, really tiny things. My toilet flushed today. Just anything.
Right, right.
Those little things really kind of shift your perspective and change your day. And then it has you do a little bit of gratitude each day and something nice that you did for someone that day. So just all those little small acts of kindness really helps.
Yes, yes. So I'll put that in the with a link for, because that sounds like an awesome tool, and it's so helpful, right? Because sometimes the journey can be overwhelming, and the overwhelm sometimes comes from not having clarity. And I think that doing what you're talking about over here, just doing the taking 3 minutes in the morning and 3 minutes at night, it just kind of helps to clear the canvas and be able to just download it and be done with it and move on with the day, so you can focus on the tasks that you need to get done. I love it. What are three things that you've told yourself to keep you going in the hardest times? Because I know it gets hard.
Yeah, that's where that diary came into play. To keep going is I always say, like, remember why you started. And, the reason why I started is because I wanted to be free to spend more time with my family, and I wanted to be fulfilled, and I wanted to be happy, and I want to travel more. I want to help other people travel more. I want to help people fulfill their bucket list. I want them to realize that you don't have to wait for, I don't know, like your kids to get older to travel, which is like
Right.
a big a lot of people use. Like, travel now with them. Like, this is going to shape who they are,
Yeah. Oh, that's so awesome.
So that was one thing that I always tell myself. And something else that I don't really tell myself this, but I just tend to look at my husband and son, and then I remember, like, I'm doing this for them.
Yeah.
And I'm doing this with them. So I changed my name from, it used to be Sun-Kissed Escapes, over to AML Travel Designs, because if my son wants to take this over in the future, he doesn't want to be Sun-Kissed Escapes. That's when I was like, oh, travel sun-kissed like the sun, but then I became more grounded and I grew up.
Right.
But, and then another thing is, so whenever I have someone who's designing my website now, she'll help me with my logo. In my logo, there is the letter M, and it has like a little road, like a little path. And it kind of reminds me to enjoy the journey.
Yes.
It's not a straight road either.
No.
It's like curvy, like that, and it's all
right. And you fall off that road once in a while, have to jump back on. Yep, I get it.
So I just want to remind myself to enjoy the journey. So I tell myself two things and I look at them for another.
Nice. I love it. I love it. What would you do differently if you had to do it over?
Man, I would have been true to myself in the beginning.
Yeah.
Like, I definitely would have. Like, I know who I am in the sense of what I enjoy, which is adventurous things and excitement. And I'm very spontaneous, and I'm bubbly, and I'm vivacious, so the fact that I started thinking I can do romance travel and be all lovey-dovey, no, Tamika, really, what are you thinking?
Right.
I've been so true to myself, and that's why it's AML means adventure meets luxury, because that's me. Like, I am adventurous, and on the same side, I would love to go to a spa day. I'm also
right.
Put a dress on, but I'll hop on an ATV and go riding through the mud and get the dress dirty. It's just like a joining of who I am.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
I would have been true to myself in the beginning.
That's awesome. And it's so true. It's so difficult at the beginning. There's so many different flashing lights trying to catch your attention, and you feel like you need, everybody's doing this, so I should follow that path, or everybody's doing that and I should do that. And it takes a while to kind of really just find find your own business personality that fits who you are and how you're going to do things. So I get that. But that's so awesome. Tamika, thank you so much for taking the time to come on with me and share your journey and all of the beautiful different aspects of it, as aggravating as it might have been at some point. You've survived, you made it, you're here, you're on the other side. I commend you for what you do. I know it takes a lot of courage to leave something that we have been told that it's so safe, and leave that paycheck and leave the safety net of a corporation and step into your own truth. So that's really awesome. And I'm so happy that we crossed paths so that you could be here sharing your story.
Thank you for having me. I had a lot of fun.
Absolutely. And please tell everyone how they can connect with you, where they can find you. If they want to travel the world, where do they go get the advice?
Well, my Facebook is the only thing that's up right now. So it's facebook.com/AML Travels. But if you're looking for my website, it's not ready yet.
It's going to be ready soon.
Still under construction. It's a work in progress.
Sure.
Is that make sure it's perfect. I just have to make sure that the content on there resonates with me.
Correct.
And the people that I'm trying to reach and what I'm trying to do for them. So by the end of this year, it should be up and running, but you can certainly follow us on Facebook, or you can even friend me on Facebook. Tamikas Korn. Korn with a K, like the band.
That's right. Okay, great. Awesome. Thank you so much. And I can't wait to see your beautiful face around. I've been looking at all the pretty pictures that you're posting, and I think it's so fun. So keep it up. I can't wait to round back and see where you're at a year from now. It's going to be fun.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks again. Bye. All right, you guys. So that was awesome. I am so honored and so thankful that Tamika joined me today for this episode of How She Did It. I hope that you guys took away lots of really good nuggets from this conversation and that you find inspiration to continue in the journey that you're in, or begin if you haven't started. I believe that you have a beautiful message within you to share with the world, and you need to step out there and share it. You deserve it, and we deserve to hear from you as well. So here are my takeaways from this conversation with Tamika, and there was a lot of really good nuggets in there, but these are the top 5 that I gathered. Give yourself permission. So give yourself permission to start, to do the soul search, to question. It's okay to question it. So give yourself permission to start. Give yourself permission to think about what if, right? Then test things out. Go out there and try things out. You heard Tamika, she started crocheting. She started doing romance traveling. So go out there and try things out and see how it fits, how it feels. Does it really accommodate the lifestyle that I want? Does it bring satisfaction and fulfillment? And does it make me happy to do it? And also, is their market responding to it, right? Like, is there something out there for me to be able to create a business out of this? Do your research. So you heard me say in the conversation that a lot of the times we say, well, I don't know how to do that, so I'm not going to do it. Why would I do it if I don't know? So instead of saying that, then go out there, do the research, learn about it, get curious, sign up for a course. I'm sure everywhere in every town in the States, there's a community college that offers continuing education of some sort. There are online websites that you can tap in and sign up for a little class. A lot of them are free or very inexpensive. So get out there, do the research, find out what people are doing, how they're doing it, Google it, YouTube it, whatever you need to do, but do your research. Do your research in terms of all the different industries that you're interested in, things that have piqued your interest before that you haven't pursued, and just check it out, right? Once you do that, then narrow things down, right? Narrow down what are the things that you need to do, which direction you want to go into, and put a plan together and Planning is like my jam. I love planning a little too much probably, but yeah, plan it out. Just put it all together, sketch it out, map it out. What does this look like? What do I need to do? What are the next 3 steps I need to take in order to move forward with this goal of mine, with this dream? Okay. And last but not least, I just love that she said this: listen to your heart. Listen to your heart. You have the answer. You know it. You know it in your heart. You know yourself better than anybody else in this universe. And it's important that you recognize that you understand that, and that you're confident in yourself and confident enough to say, okay, I got this. I can do it. I know that there's something out there for me. I know that I'm really amazing at this set of things. I'm going to recognize myself for that. I'm going to give myself permission to step into it and then move forward. I am so, so, so happy that she shared her story with us, that she shared her journey. I really, truly hope that this gives you inspiration wherever you are in that journey. I mean, she essentially just outlined the whole journey for you. Wherever you are, I hope that you found something in this conversation to help you move forward to the next step, and just take the next step. That's all you have to do. Until next time, much love and success. I cannot wait to hear from you. Please share in the comments what are some thoughts that came up out of this. What are some different ideas? What is one thing that you're going to commit to do out of this conversation? What is one thing that you took away that you're going to commit to implement and take your dream to the next level? And then again, until the next time, much love and success. Can't wait to hear from you. Bye.